Hello? Patrick Gilbert? Is Patrick here? Patrick, can I talk to you for a second, please? Colin Greif? Chris Morgan? Devon Seymour?
Good evening and welcome. The agenda for the special meeting, 5 p.m., June 7th, 2023. Roll call, please.
Ms. Acosta,
Here.
Ms. Fabry,
Here.
Mr. Fiocchi,
Here.
Mr. Holmes,
Here.
Mr. Rivera,
Here.
Mr. Sabrana,
Present.
Mr. Silva,
Here.
Mrs. Cosbati,
Present.
Ms. Spinelli.
Here. In compliance with the New Jersey Open Public Meeting Law, commonly referred to as the Sunshine Law, the Board of Education has caused notice and posting of this meeting to be sent to the following: announcing time, place, agenda, etc. The Daily Journal, S&J Today, the Press of Atlantic City, Vesto Bueno, the Clerk for the City of Vineland, and the Administrative Office Public Bulletin Board. At this time, we would like to welcome our Wallace Middle School students to lead us in the flag salute.
You just want us to say it? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. If you guys want to come forward, Mr. Sabrana is down there with some certificates and we'll get a picture. Thank you very much for coming out tonight. At this time, Mr. DeSanto, would you please explain the process of the naming of the Vineland High School Gymnasium Policy 7250?
Thank you, Mrs. Spinelli. At the May board meeting, the board authorized Mr. Mustarell to advertise for nominations to name the Vineland High School Gymnasium in honor of an individual meeting the qualifications of Policy 7250. Mr. Mustarell published the advertisement and set a deadline of June 2nd for receipt of the nominations. The notice clearly stated that no further nominations would be considered after the June 2nd deadline, including tonight. Mr. Mustarell received a number of responses to the solicitation, but all of the responses nominated Mr. Ed Harvard. Therefore, this evening, Mr. Harvard's name will be the only name that should be considered by the board this evening. No other nominations from the floor should be made tonight or accepted. Speakers will be given 3 minutes to give his or her presentation, including how the nominee meets the criteria under the policy. The board requests the audience to avoid repetitive comments and requests that subsequent speakers only address new points to be made. Mrs. Spinelli, you may now open the public comment on Mr. Harvard.
At this time, I welcome you to come to the podium and have comments regarding the school gym naming after Mr. Harvard.
Chris Wilson.
Good evening. I come to you this evening on behalf of the Harvard family, former and present educators, former students, and community of Vineland whom have expressed support in the naming of the 11 and 12 gymnasium after Mr. Edward Harvard. I'm bringing you this request to the board this evening. The people you see here tonight, some of the people in the crowd, are in full support of making this request of the nomination of naming this gymnasium for his commitment to Vineland Public School System. We are hoping that the vote tonight will be affirmed unanimously from the board. As many of you may know or may not, Mr. Harvard not only taught for 38 years, he also served as vice principal from 1990 to 2006. He also achieved during that time to be the winningest men's basketball coach in VHS history. Mr. Harvard continued his passion for basketball by serving as head coach for the girls' basketball team from 1976 to 1979, and then later was the head coach of the boys' basketball team from 1979 to 1988. Leading that team and two other teams to a 21-3 record twice between the years of 1982 and 1987, while accomplishing of having had one of the top basketball teams in the state of New Jersey. The Harvard family sends its gratitude in even being considered of this great honor of their family member. If this honor is bestowed upon this great educator, mentor, and coach, it is not only well-deserved, it is without a doubt the right thing to consider. Thank you for your time and consideration of this request for a great and noble man of the people of Vineland. Thank you.
Vera Hextall.
To the superintendent, board members, it is indeed bittersweet that I stand before you this evening to make the request for my dear friend and as well as a family friend of Mr. Ed Harvard. However, I must just say, it feels funny standing behind this desk. I stood behind it for so many years as a teacher here at Landis Middle School. Back to Mr. Harvard. He has left such a legacy, not only to the community, to the school, but to other places as well. Mr. Harvard was a dedicated, self-serving, self-righteous individual who looked out not only for his late wife, Jackie, and his son, and his granddaughter, and his grandson. Mr. Harvard, to know him really was to understand him, was to automatically love him for his perseverance for others. He and his wife often would have the basketball team to come to their house for meals. If they needed sneakers, they would purchase sneakers. If they needed clothes, he would purchase clothes for them. So he was just a dynamic force, not only as a basketball coach, but as a friend, as a church member, as a friend. Mr. Harvard, to hear him speak, you would be in awe for such a gracious man as to how he has helped many, many, many students at the Vineland High School, girls as well as boys, educators as well as lay people. He had the tenacity to help anyone in need. Always, always had a smile on his face. So in honor of the Harvard family, we recommend that you name the gymnasium after Mr. Edward Joseph Harvard, my dear late friend. Thank you very much.
Bruce Smith.
Good evening, board. My name is Bruce Smith. It's funny being in here. I've actually went to school here about 30 years ago, and actually, Ms. Hextall was my history teacher here. I'm here to speak on behalf of nominating the Vineland High School Gymnasium after Mr. Harvard. To only add on to what Chris and Ms. Hextall spoke about, It wasn't just about his service to players that actually went to Vineland High and played at Vineland High, but after he served as a head coach, he served as a coach of community teams in Vineland. And in that capacity, he's also led and mentored many kids outside of the school system and took them places and showed them things that they've never would have had the opportunity to see without his guidance. I would just, the name, buildings are buildings, and the names that we give them represent something. And one thing when I think about Mr. Harvard that he represents, or one of the things he used to always tell us in basketball is the quickest way between two destinations was a straight line. And there's a lot of people in this town and outside of this town. There are business owners, attorneys, people who work at banks, who you can search and do a direct line from that person who played for Mr. Harvard to him and their success in life. Having played in the Vineland High gym, I think when you step there and the brotherhood or the sisterhood that takes place and what that represents in this town and how much sports means to this town and what that has done for other people searching for success, I think the name is an inspiration. And naming him and giving that gym his name can be an inspiration to kids who come long before we're gone, that they can strive to give to other youth what he was able to give. Thank you.
Is there anybody else who'd like to come up and speak regarding the naming of the high school gym? Okay, thank you.
Mr. Santo?
At this time, the chair should entertain a motion to name the Vineland High School Gymnasium South, Vineland High School South Gymnasium in honor of Mr. Ed Harvard.
At this time, do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Ms. Acosta?
I am very honored to say yes.
Ms. Fabry?
Yes.
Mr. Fiocchi?
Yes.
Mr. Holmes?
Yes.
Mr. Rivera?
Yes.
Mr. Sabrana?
Definitely yes.
Mr. Silva?
Yes.
Mrs. Codispoti?
100% yes.
Ms. Spinelli?
Yes.
Motion carries.
That's it, right? No other board business? So at this time, we are going to adjourn our special meeting.
Public comment.
Any other public comment on any other matter? Seeing none? So at this time, we are going to adjourn and get into our regular board meeting.
So moved.
All in favor? All right. Welcome to the agenda for the combined meeting, 5:30, June 7th, 2023. Roll call, please. Bob, do we have to do the flag salute again?
Yes.
Okay.
As if it never happened.
Ms. Acosta?
Here.
Ms. Fabry?
Here.
Mr. Fiocchi?
Here.
Mr. Holmes?
Here.
Mr. Rivera?
Here.
Mr. Sabrana?
Present.
Mr. Silva?
Here.
Mrs. Codispoti?
Present.
Ms. Spinelli?
Here. In compliance with the New Jersey Open Public Meeting Law, commonly referred to as the Sunshine Law, the Vineland Board of Education has caused notice and posting of this meeting to be sent to the following: announcing time, place, agenda, etc. The Daily Journal, S&J Today, the Press of Atlantic City, Vesto Bueno, the clerk for the City of Vineland, and the Administrative Bulletin Board. At this time, we will do the flag salute. Scott, at this time, do we have a resolution for executive session?
We do. Now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Education of the City of Vineland School District will convene an executive session for the following reasons as outlined in NJSA 10:4-12. Discussions include the collective bargaining agreements, a contract negotiation, the superintendent evaluation, and any matters falling within the attorney-client privilege to the extent the confidentiality is required in order for the attorney to exercise his ethical duties as a lawyer.
So at this time, we're going to go into executive session. The superintendent evaluation process will be at the end of the meeting in an additional executive session.
Madam President, a point of order. Prior to the meeting, there seemed to be some discussion going on with people in the audience who apparently were here to be heard. May we know what the content and the reason for that conversation was?
As board members know, by bylaw, we have two portions of public comment during our board meetings. The first portion is prior to the superintendent's recommendations and the board vote on agenda items. The second portion is at the end, near the end of the meeting, in which public may comment on any matter involving the district. Mr. Musterell receives yellow sheets from the public, and the yellow sheets request the name of the individual and what the item is, so Mr. Musterell can determine whether or not the individual should speak before on agenda items or at the end on any matter. Several of those sheets were unclear as to whether or not the request was being made to speak on agenda items. So Mr. Musterell asked if he could clarify that, and I went along just to make sure the discussion was okay. So as a result of that, Mr. Musterell has now separated the sheets into agenda item comment and comment on any matter.
And have we not in the past, depending on the length of our executive sessions, allowed the public to speak on a particular matter prior to the meeting? Or prior to the vote?
That's within the board's prerogative, certainly.
In the past, we've had one section, I believe, for public comment, correct?
Oh, and we've had it both ways. Yes, we
Right.
had it one session, one public session on any matter, including agenda, and then we separated. The thought was that in order to expedite the meeting and to accommodate the public who wanted to speak only on agenda items, to have that separated and be held first for purposes of accommodation to the public. That's the way we've been doing it in recent years. In my comments, I was going to more thoroughly address what had gone on and the nature of that discussion, because it appeared clear to me that the public members were not happy with the decision.
Well,
I can do it now if you like.
would it require a motion to expedite that portion of the meeting?
Yeah.
Where people that want to speak on a particular agenda item, not just anything, could go
Before you retire an executive session, or you can request the chair to do it, or you can do it by motion.
Well, I'd like to move that.
Okay. Mr. Sabrana has made a motion to waive the agenda procedure and move public comment on agenda items at this point before the board recesses into executive session. The chair would need a second.
Second. Roll call, please.
Who seconded?
Inez.
Ms. Acosta?
Yes.
Ms. Fabry?
Yes.
Mr. Fiocchi?
Yes.
Mr. Holmes?
Yes.
Mr. Rivera?
Yes.
Mr. Sabrana?
Yes.
Mr. Silva?
Yes.
Ms. Codispoti? Ms. Spinelli?
Yes.
Motion carries. Do we need a vote for the executive session?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Ms. Acosta?
Yes.
Ms. Fabry?
Yes.
Mr. Fiocchi?
Yes.
Mr. Holmes?
Yes.
Mr. Rivera?
Yes.
Mr. Sabrana?
Yes.
Mr. Silva?
Yes.
Mrs. Codispoti? Ms. Spinelli?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, we're going to move into public comment. Scott has some yellow sheets on agenda items. So do you want to?
We waived that, so it's all public comment, correct? Yeah. Mhm. Chris Morgan?
Point of information. Is this on all agenda items?
I understood, I think
Your mic.
I had indicated.
Your mic.
I had understood.
All agenda. Yeah.
When I recited the motion, I recited it on agenda items only because that's what I understood Mr. Sabrana's motion to be.
Correct.
Yeah. Yeah.
No problem.
Go ahead, Mr. Morgan, you have an agenda item.
Yes. Okay, my name's Chris Morgan. I'm a board member with Vineland Junior Football League. I am here with a speech from a committee member who was on the hiring committee for the head football coach. He couldn't be here. He had a prior engagement tonight, but he did want me to read his statement for him. Good evening, everyone. My name is Nick Basil, former coach and defensive coordinator here at Vineland High School for almost 20 years. I'm also founder, president, and coach of Vineland Blitz Junior Football League. I appreciate the opportunity to say a few words. I'm here to speak about the superintendent's nomination. I was fortunate to be selected to be on the committee 10 years ago for the hiring of Coach Dan Russo, which produced some outstanding results. I was equally honored to be included in the process again this time. My assumption was that the committee, based on a scoring and interview criteria, would determine the new coach. After round one particular candidate scored the highest. After round two, a different candidate scored the highest. We were then informed that central office will be taking over. No further communication was received. I then learned of the new prospective candidate yesterday morning at a local eatery, which is not the candidate that scored the highest. In my humble opinion, the candidate that scored the highest had far and away the best and most complete resume, and is whom you should be considering here tonight. Respectfully, Nicholas Basil. Thank you.
Are there any other comments on agenda items?
Seeing none? Oh, here.
Can you state an address,
Hello.
please?
My name is Patrick Gilbert. I play for the Vineland.
Speak into the microphone, please.
My name is Patrick Gilbert. I play for the Vineland High School football team. I just wanted to come up and give you my opinion, and I know the opinion of everyone else on the team, that we believe we would have had a better shot if we were able to give a little bit more input on a coaching staff. And that's not... I play for Vineland High School. Everyone over there plays for Vineland High School. And we believe that bringing in someone else to coach us when we have someone well respected and loved by everyone that has helped us both on and off the field in every regard would be wrong, and it would rob us of many opportunities in the future. That it's as simple as we believe we should have at least a little bit of a say in who we have coach us and the opportunities that we're able to achieve.
Hello. My name is Colin Greif. Like he said, I also play for the Vineland football team. And like he was saying, I also believe in the person he was speaking of. His name is Jose Guzman. He's someone that's helped me since my freshman year in every way. He's helped me gain confidence. Like, my freshman year, I probably wouldn't even be able to speak up here. He's someone that helps people in and outside the football team. He's coached just most of the sports. And he's someone that truly cares about each and every single player on this field. He doesn't even care if they make it in football, per se. He wants them to just succeed in life. And every single person here was trying to say that. Them being here tells you that. And I believe earlier today that we were being told we were not going to be able to speak on this until after the vote for the head coach, I believe. And I believe if anyone has a say in who will be coaching our football team and will be taking care of this football team, is the football team themselves. That's just what I wanted to say today. Thank you.
We have to keep the comments to agenda items only, please. Is it what we discussed?
Excuse me, can you explain why that's not an agenda item?
So they would have a voice. It would be at the end of the meeting, and we appreciate. Miss,
We hold on. We need to stop. We need to stop the comment from the public. This gentleman should be able to speak now because it is an agenda item. You should be able to continue now.
How are you guys doing today? My name is Davon Seymour. I played football from 2013 to 2017, and I just came up here to speak on the behalf of Coach Guzman. He's one of the most passionate coaches I've ever had. He plays by the book. He's a guy that changed my life, both on the field and off the field, and he's been there for a lot of players, and a lot of people look up to him. What you get out of him can't really be like replicated, honestly, like from a coaching standpoint. A lot of kids that you guys see out here wouldn't be here for a lot of other coaches, honestly. And I'm a former player. I had my daughter here earlier, and she was getting a little loud in the back, so I sent her out. But it just says a lot for us to be here right now to speak on someone very highly respected among not only his current players, but players that are long down the line. He honestly changed football along with some other coaches, but it's about him today. And I just believe that he deserves the job because of his resume and what he's done. And on and off the field, like I said, he does a lot for a lot of people, and I hope you guys can see it.
Hi, how is everyone doing today? I'm also here to speak on behalf of Coach Guzman and why I believe he should be the Vineland High School head coach. I also played football for 4 years at Vineland High School. I played from 2014 to 2018. And Coach Guz, I agree with Davon, he's also a very passionate guy. He also goes the extra mile. He also goes the extra mile with his players. For me personally, I've had a lot of trouble in my beginning years at Vineland High School, and he's seen that. He has that sixth sense, as a coach, to where he can see where a player is going through something, he can pull him aside and get to the bottom of it and help him out in that fashion. It's not always about offense, defense, X's and O's on the field. It's about life and how you can get better at it, how you can take on certain responsibilities and help you grow as an individual. I was very shy as a freshman. I've quickly grown out of that due to Coach Guzman and a lot of his mentoring skills and stuff like that. And there's no doubt in my mind that I know that he should be the right coach for Vineland High School. Currently, I play football at Kentucky Christian University. I'm pursuing my education through athletic training. And I've been on 2 leadership councils in the past 2 years, so I'm very happy and proud to say that as well. And that's, I would say that's just one of the accomplishments to Coach Guzman and what he's done for me. Any other person, I also agree with the players over there. Bringing someone in that's new to the organization would not help at all. You would have to go through the process of getting respect from your players, and that's never a guarantee. It's not easy to get respect from your players. You have to do things outside the box, not in the box, and it's just, I agree with those guys over there. But that's my time, and thank you guys. Wanye Kent out.
My name is Tyrell Powell, captain of the football team. I'm here to talk on Coach Guz's hiring. Many people may think coaching football is just about calling plays and winning games, but it's far more than that. Most of us over here have been here for 3 years, and it's about building relationships with your coaches. And we just want to have a successful season. We think it's in our best interest to keep an in-house coach that we already have a relationship with and built. And change has its benefits, but stability overvalues, in my opinion. Thank you.
How's everybody doing? I'm sorry. This is I read last thing was from Nicholas Basil. This one's from me. I know that we're really late in the season now, right? I mean, it's June already. Football season's going to be here before we know it. I know Coach Guzman's been here for a long time. He has a coaching staff on hand, ready to go. Okay. The other candidates, I think you really need to take a look at their coaching staffs and who they're going to bring in, okay? And will they even be able to get them here in time? It takes a long time to bring a coaching staff together and get a football program moving in line with all these changes that are going to be happening, and I just feel like these boys need to be able to get going as soon as possible with a program that's ready to go. So I just hope that you can consider all those details when you consider your selection. Thank you.
So we're going to move on at this point to our yellow sheets. So Mr. Mustarell will call each of you up to the podium.
Did Jamison Blanding speak?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Jamison Blanding. I'm 17 years old and a junior going into my senior year. I'm here to discuss the Vineland football team and its future. On Monday after school in the weight room, Coach Russo talked to the team about him giving up the head coach position and that he recommended Coach Guzman. He told us that someone anonymous thought Coach Guzman would be a bad fit for the head coach position. Coach Guz is always positive no matter what happens, even after a loss. He is enthusiastic about teaching football and is a great teacher when it comes on and off the field. Coach Guzman is more than a coach. He is a role model, always ready to help when it's needed. I speak for the whole football team when I say that Coach Guz will be a great head coach. So please reconsider your decision. Thank you.
Davon Seymour? You spoke already? Wyna Kent? Spoke already too? That's all I have.
At this time, we will retire into executive session. Good evening, and thank you for your patience. Moving on to special presentations this evening. Mr. Yano, do we have any special presentations?
Yes, we do. Dr. Sneeden, Assistant Superintendent, and Mrs. Rosalind Feliciano, Wallace Middle School Principal, shall honor security guards for heroism. Please go up to the podium.
So we are very honored to point out the bravery and heroism of several of our security employees who stepped in at just the right time and saved a life at Wallace Middle School this year. It's something that we hope never happens, but we're very, very blessed and happy that our security guards were there and trained and acted and were able to intervene. So I want to introduce Ms. Feliciano to honor these employees.
Good evening. I'd like to say that, our security guards are top-notch. They're always there on the lookout. And in our cafeteria, we had a young lady who was choking on a mozzarella stick, and Mr. Phoebus, who is here tonight, he ran right to her without thinking. Mr. Sotomayor, who is not here with us, due to other work engagement, they ran up to her. Elijah did the Heimlich maneuver on her. Mr. Sotomayor just pulled that cheese out of her throat, and thank goodness the girl was saved. I think just a couple minutes and it would have been a different story. So, Mr. Phoebus, if you wouldn't mind coming up. Greatly appreciate you for everything that you do. And Mr. Sotomayor will make sure to give him his award tomorrow as well. But thank you.
Any questions or comments regarding the HIB report? Seeing none. Any questions or comments on the approval of the minutes from the May 3rd, 2023 combined meeting? Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Ms. Acosta.
Yes.
Ms. Fabry.
Yes.
Mr. Fiocchi.
Yes.
Mr. Holmes.
Yes.
Mr. Rivera.
Yes.
Mr. Sobrano.
Yes.
Mr. Silva.
Yes.
Mrs. Cottis-Spotty. Ms. Spinelli.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Committee reports this evening. Any committee reports? Mr. Rivera.
Good evening, everyone. The Facilities Committee met on Thursday, June 1st at 4:30 p.m. Present were Mrs. Cottis-Spotty, Mr. Sobrano, Mr. Mustarell, Ms. Spinelli, Mr. Farinaccio, and myself. We went over some project updates. A couple were, including the ESSER HVAC update was reviewed. ESSER projects, which included current progress for Dan Barcy and Winslow School Phase 2, and Phase 1 at Winslow is completed. ESSER 2 and ESSER 3 Windows update. Mr. Farinaccio reviewed the current status of ESSER 2 Windows, and Barcy is underway at the current time. Completion is planned for June 20th at Barcy. District-wide camera projects. Phase 1 of the camera project is almost completed in full. Planning to have another training and overview session. Mr. Farinaccio also stated Phase 2 planning is underway. Outdoor cameras should be operational by the end of June. Rossi Roof Project. A construction meeting will be set up with Union Roofing. Project starts when school lets out for the summer. Departmental bids, Mr. Fernandez spoke about 2 upcoming bids. Durand and Winslow windows were rejected and re-advertised again. Johnson Pre-K project had no bidders, and this is being re-advertised once again. Upcoming projects for the summer are HVAC upgrades for Memorial and Landis, transportation flooring, in-house painting projects, fire alarm upgrades, asbestos maintenance, and security initiatives. And also lastly discussed was the summertime work substitutes. Mr. Mustero reviewed a plan to increase the minimum hourly wage to be more competitive and to attract additional candidates. And those individuals will be working on HVAC, custodial, and district painting. And that is all I have.
Thank you. Any other committee reports this evening? Seeing none. Public meeting report by Board Solicitor. Do we have anything?
None.
I don't see anyone from the high school. Public comment on agenda items. Please limit yourself to 3. Okay. Did that. Motions and resolutions.
Requesting discussion and approval of personnel items 1.1 through 1.6. 1.1, approval of the following as noted on the agenda: A, B, C, D, E, and F. 1.2, approval of the following appointments for the 22-23 school year as noted A through I on our agenda. 1.3, approval of the appointment of Executive Director of Purchasing Keith Salerno as a district's QPA, Qualified Purchasing Agent. 1.4, requesting approval of an hourly rate increase for substitute custodial workers for summer 2023. 1.5, requesting approval of a new collective bargaining agreement between the board and the Non-Certificated Supervisors Association. And 1.6, approval of the revised appointment of staff of the federal program salaries and funding percentages for the 22-23 school year as per the names provided, and I'll follow with the Secretary of the Board.
Any questions or comments? Seeing none. Do I have a motion?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Ms. Acosta.
We're voting on the
1 through 1.5. Okay. 1.6.
yes to all except to the item Schedule B fall coaches.
I'm sorry?
Yes to all except the item Schedule B fall coaches and under extracurricular.
Ms. Fabry?
Yes to all except for the Schedule B fall coaches on precedent that I have nothing to do with football. I don't know anything about athletics, but I wish we could have had a little more conversations about this. So no.
Mr. Fiocchi?
Yes.
Mr. Holmes?
Yes.
Mr. Rivera?
Yes, except under D, fall coaches, no.
Mr. Sabrana?
Yes to all except Schedule B fall coaches.
Mr. Silva?
Yes.
Mrs. Codispoti?
Yes to all except for 13626.
What? I'm sorry, say that again?
Yes to all, no to 13626. No to all under extra elementary instructional coaches. And no to Schedule B fall coaches.
Ms. Spinelli?
Yes to everything, but no to the elementary instructional coaches.
Motion carries with the exception of Schedule B fall coaches.
Requesting discussion and approval regarding procedures and operations items 2.1 through 2.8. Approval of trip and travel as noted on the agenda. 2.2, approval of the 21-22 school year school HID grade reports. 2.3, approval of the first reading of the following policy for discussion. Policy 8454. 2.4, approval of the second reading of the following policies for discussion as noted on our agenda. 2.5, approval of the spring bus evacuation drills completed in March, April, and May. 2.6, approval of the purchasing manual. 2.7, approval of the resolution amending the school calendar for the 22-23 school year. 2.8, approval of the affiliation agreement with Stockton University for 22-23 and 2024 school year.
Any questions or comments? Seeing none, do I have a motion? Roll call, please.
Ms. Acosta.
Yes.
Ms. Fabry.
Yes.
Mr. Fiocchi.
Yes.
Mr. Holmes.
Yes.
Mr. Rivera.
Yes.
Mr. Sobrana.
Yes.
Mr. Silva.
Yes.
Mrs. Codispoti. Ms. Spinelli.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Discussion, requesting discussion and approval regarding buildings and grounds 3.1 through 3.3, 3.1, let's see, 3.1, approval of the use of the Vineland High School South Complex by the City of Vineland for fireworks on Tuesday, July 4th, and Gatone Stadium National Night Out, Tuesday, August 1st.
Any questions or comments? Seeing none, do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Ms. Acosta.
Yes.
Ms. Fabry.
Yes.
Mr. Fiocchi.
Yes.
Mr. Holmes.
Yes.
Mr. Rivera.
Yes.
Mr. Sobrana.
Yes.
Mr. Silva.
Yes.
Mrs. Codispoti.
Yes, we have to go back to 3.2 and 3.3.
Okay.
Just add in 3.1, which we already read. 3.2 is the approval of a request for a waiver of toilet room facilities for A, B, and C as noted at Golan, Sabataire, and Vineland YMCA. And 3.3 was approval of a petition to the Executive County Superintendent of Schools to approve the following for dual-use instructional facilities at Wallace Middle School, room C106, B206.
For clarification, I'm going to go through the roll call again. Ms. Acosta.
Yes.
Ms. Fabry.
Yes.
Mr. Fiocchi.
Yes.
Mr. Holmes.
Yes.
Mr. Rivera.
Yes.
Mr. Sobrana.
Yes.
Mr. Silva.
Yes.
Mrs. Codispoti. Ms. Spinelli.
Yes.
Motion carries.
We have quite a few finance items. So we're going to break it up. Right, so we're going to do 4.1 through 4.8, requesting approval and discussion and approval of 4.1 through 4.8. 4.1, approval of budgetary transfers. 4.2, approval that the Board of Education can approve the Board Secretary's reports. The Treasurer's report and Secretary's report are in agreement for the month ended April 2023. 4.3, approval of the placement of special ed students. 4.4, approval of the grant applications that are noted on the agenda. 4.5, approval of the submission of the fiscal year 2023 Elementary and Secondary Education Act, ESEA. 4.6, approval of the submission of the ARP IDA Consolidated Application Amendment. 4.7, approval of the submission of the Coronavirus Response and Supplemental Appropriations Act. 4.8, approval of acceptance of submission and acceptance of funds for the New Jersey Youth Corps CAP grant as provided and on file with the Board Secretary.
Any questions or comments? Seeing none, do I have a motion? Roll call, please.
Ms. Acosta,
Yes.
Ms. Fabry,
Yes.
Mr. Fiocchi,
Yes.
Mr. Holmes,
Yes.
Mr. Rivera,
Yes.
Mr.
Yes.
Sobrana,
Yes.
Mr. Silva,
Yes.
Mrs. Codispoti, Ms. Spinelli.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Requesting discussion and approval regarding finance, 4.9 through 4.16. 4.9, approval of the requisition to the City of Vineland for the 2023-2024 local school taxes according to the schedule provided on file with the Board Secretary. 4.10, approval of a resolution appointing the following changes set forth in the following link on our agenda to the Newfield National Bank depositories. 4.11, approval of resolution appointing the following changes set forth in the following link on our agenda, bank depositories for business checking, savings, investments, athletic fund budget, payroll, agency, food service, and payroll. 4.12, approval of a resolution appointing the following changes for student activity accounts. 4.3, approval of professional services renewal contract to Ford Scott and Associates, LLC. 4.14, approval of the financial management software agreement, Systems 3000, for a 3-year period. 4.15, approval of an agreement with Aptigee for mobile app and website development for a 12-month term. 4.16, approval of the renewal of health insurance with the SCRBEF effective July 1st.
Any questions or comments? Seeing none, do I have a motion? Roll call, please.
Ms. Acosta,
Yes.
Ms. Fabry,
Yes.
Mr. Fiocchi,
Yes.
Mr. Holmes, Mr. Rivera,
Yes.
Mr. Sobrana.
Yes, and a point of order, I'd like to amend my vote under the personnel items to no on the instructional coaches.
Thank you. Mr. Silva,
Yes.
Mrs. Codispoti, Ms. Spinelli.
Yes.
Motion carries.
4. Requesting a discussion and approval regarding finance 417 to 425. 417, approval of the renewal of the prescription program with RX Alliance, Benecard. 4.18, approval of a 5-year renewal of vision insurance with Vision Service Plan, VSP. 4.19, approval of the renewal of dental insurance with the Dental Alliance underwritten by Delta Dental. 4.20, approval of the renewal of the district package policy with NJ SIG through Hardenberg Insurance Group. 4.21, approval of year 5 contract renewal for food service management company with Sodexo. 4.22, approval of the school nutrition program vended meals contract between Creative Achievement Academy and Vineland Board of Education. 4.23, approval of a professional services contract with Epic Environmental Services for testing related to HVAC projects. 4.24, approval of professional development for Project Lead the Way. 4.25, approval of GoMath for mathematics resources in the amount of $1,056,737.47 funded by ESSER.
Any questions or comments? Seeing none, do I have a motion? Roll call, please.
Ms. Acosta,
Yes.
Ms. Fabry,
Yes.
Mr. Fiocchi,
Yes.
Mr. Holmes,
Yes.
Mr. Rivera,
Yes.
Mr. Sobrana,
Yes.
Mr. Silva,
Yes.
Mrs. Codispoti, Ms. Spinelli.
Yes.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Requesting discussion and approval regarding finance items 426 to 435. 4.26, approval of a shared service agreement with the City of Vineland to assist in providing free influenza vaccines to eligible students. 4.27, approval of the MOA with Southern New Jersey Perinatal Cooperative. 4.28, approval of the agreement between professional medical staffing and the Vineland Board for Nursing Services. 429, approval of the agreement between the City of Vineland Board of Education and Catapult Learning to provide nursing services to students in non-public schools. 4.30, approval of the staffing professional services contract between Right Choice for Home Health Care and the Board of Education for licensed practical nurses. 4.31, approval of the 23-24 professional services agreement between White Glove Community Care for nursing services for special ed students. 4.32, approval of the healthcare staffing agreement between Epic Aviana Health Services to provide licensed practical nurses. 4.33, approval of the contract for in-school, one-on-one, only nursing, transport only nursing services by out-of-home healthcare. 4.34, approval of the contract for in-school multiple student nursing services with Out-of-Home Health. 4.35, approval of the contract for in-school substitute nursing services with Out-of-Home Health Care for RNs.
Any questions or comments? Seeing none, do I have a motion? Roll call, please.
Ms. Acosta?
Yes.
Ms. Fabry?
Yes.
Mr. Fiocchi?
Yes.
Mr. Holmes?
Yes.
Mr. Rivera?
Yes.
Mr. Sabrana?
Yes.
Mr. Silva?
Yes.
Mrs. Cottis-Spotty?
Yes.
Ms. Spinelli?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Requesting discussion and approval regarding finance items 4.36 to 4.44. 4.36, approval of a resolution appointing the legal depositories for school district funds. 4.37, approval of a resolution recognizing the collective bargaining units. 4.38, approval of a resolution appointing official newspapers. 4.39, approval of the membership renewal of the New Jersey State Interscholastic Athletic Association. 4.40, approval regarding a professional services contract to Dr. Saloom, complete health care, medical services as chief school physician for the district. 4.41, approval of a professional services renewal contract to Inspire Health Care Occupational Health Services for medical screening services. 4.43, approval of a professional services contract to Dr. Adam Zucconi as alternate school physician. 4.43, approval of an acknowledgement that no bids were received on Tuesday, May 23rd, 2023 at 10 a.m. for bid VPS 012324, student transportation. 4.44, approval of awarding the following contract for before and after care programs bid 062324 to the contractor KCE Champions LLC.
Any questions or comments? Seeing none, do I have a motion? Roll call, please.
Ms. Acosta?
Yes.
Ms. Fabry?
Yes.
Mr. Fiocchi?
Yes, I'll need to abstain on 4.36.
4.36?
Yeah, 4.44.
I'm sorry,
4.44 and 4.36.
Thank you. Mr. Holmes?
Yes.
Mr. Rivera?
Yes.
Mrs. Sabrana?
Yes.
Mr. Silva?
Yes.
Mrs. Cottis-Spotty?
Yes.
Ms. Spinelli?
Yes to all but abstain from 4.40.
Requesting discussion and
Motion
approval.
carries.
Sorry. Requesting discussion and approval regarding finance items 4.45 to 4.51. 4.45. Approval of an acknowledgement that no bids were received on Thursday, June 1st, 2023 at 10 a.m. for PW 092324 Johnstone Pre-K alterations. 4.46. Approval of the following contract for summer before and after school program. Contractor Alpha Best Education. 4.47. Approval of tuition contracts for the City of Vineland Board of Education. 4.48. Approval of the 10 Vineland preschool bus advertisements renewal for a 12-month term, and the 20 bus drivers wanted advertisements renewal for a 12-month term as well. 4.49, approval of the Vineland bus advertising renewal for a 12-month term. 4.50, approval of the 2022-2023 joint transportation agreement between Cape May County Special Services and the City of Vineland Board of Education. 4.51, approval of an addendum with Golden Gate Incorporated in support of the 21st Century Community Learning Center grant to provide services to a few of our schools, no cost to the district.
Any questions or comments? Seeing none, do I have a motion? Roll call, please.
Ms. Acosta,
Yes.
Ms. Fabry,
Yes.
Mr. Fiocchi,
Yes.
Mr. Holmes,
Yes.
Mr. Rivera,
Yes to all, no to 4.51.
no to 4 point what? 50?
5-1.
5-1, thank you.
Golden Gate.
Mr. Sabrana,
Yes.
Mr. Silva,
Yes.
Mrs. Cottasbody,
Yes.
Ms. Spinelli.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, moving on to the regular agenda. Approval of the following contracts on file with the Board Secretary, Executive County Superintendent. Approval has been obtained for these contracts, A, B, and C, for a one-year term, July 1st, 2023 to July 30th, 2024. Questions or comments? Seeing none, do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Ms. Acosta,
Yes.
Ms. Fabry,
Yes.
Mr. Fiocchi.
Yes.
Mr. Holmes.
Yes.
Mr. Rivera,
No.
Mr. Sabrana,
No, on the basis of our conversations last week regarding finances.
Mr. Silva,
Yes.
Mrs. Cottasbody.
Before I vote on this, I'd like to say this is not personal to anyone. And none of what I do or don't do is ever meant to be insulting, but I hold an office that the public has placed me in to help make all of VPS stronger. Sometimes it takes sacrifices to get there in tough times. We placed a 6% tax increase on an already poor community while everyone is faced with cost issues and cuts. I believe that all parts of VPS have or will have to sacrifice at some point, but I'm hopeful that better times are coming financially. So with that being said, since I can't split my vote and say yes to a contract and no to percentages, I have to say no to the whole thing.
Ms. Spinelli.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Number 11. At this time, I would like to propose review and discussion or adoption by board members to discuss an ad hoc committee in regards to student discipline. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Roll call, please.
Ms. Acosta,
Yes.
Ms. Fabry,
Yes.
Mr. Fiocchi, Mr. Holmes,
Yes.
Mr. Rivera,
Yes.
Mr. Sabrana,
Yes.
Mr. Silva,
Yes.
Mrs. Cottasbody.
Yes.
Ms. Spinelli.
Yes.
Motion
At
carries.
this time, I would like to appoint who will be serving on the committee. Since I'm coming off the board, I have given my spot to another board member. The chair will be Kim Cottasbody, Dennis Rivera, Alex Silva, and John. Approval of
So,
emergent...
Excuse me, Madam President. So the motion was to create the committee. I didn't understand that to be the case. You have that
Motion-
down?
That's
To
correct.
create the committee which she just appointed. Okay, just for clarification.
And the appointments are, the chair is
The chair's
Cottasbody?
appointments, the board doesn't vote. Those are Megan's appointments.
No, I understand.
Yeah.
Cottasbody is the chair? Got it.
Approval of bills paid in April of 2023. Do I have any questions or comments? Seeing none, do I have a motion?
So moved.
Roll call, please.
Ms. Acosta,
Yes.
Ms. Fabry,
Yes.
Mr. Fiocchi.
Yes.
Mr. Holmes,
Yes.
Mr. Rivera,
Yes.
Mr. Sabrana,
Yes.
Mr. Silva,
Yes.
Ms. Cottasbody, Ms. Spinelli.
Yes.
Motion carries.
We have no emergent items at this time. At this time, we will have the public be able to address the board if anyone would like to come to the podium, and please limit yourself to 3 minutes.
Dana Speziali.
Good evening. My name is Dana Speziali. I'm currently the reading specialist at Rossi Elementary School. And for the past 2 years, I've had the opportunity to work closely with struggling readers and help build their foundational skills necessary to become proficient readers. I am here this evening to advocate for the importance of maintaining and even adding intervention specialists or basic skills teachers. We must have highly trained and experienced staff at every elementary school to provide research-based instructional support to our students. Students in our district deserve it. There has been mention in the district that the budget is going to get tight and intervention support services will be cut. If this is true, this would be a massive mistake and would lead to an astronomical increase in students being referred for special education services. In my 19 years of service here in Vineland, I have seen a steady decline of support staff, namely intervention, being cut down to bare bones. There was once a time that each elementary school, which then there were 9, had 2 interventionists per grade level. Now we will have 1 per school plus a coach. Our students back in those days received the help they needed. We had a response to intervention process to meet our students' needs and constantly revisit and revise how to support them. I implore the district to review the New Jersey tiered system of supports response to intervention model that should be followed to identify struggling learners, maximize student achievement, and help all students succeed. We need to ensure this process is in place and being followed. According to the Children's Reading Foundation, without a strong foundation in reading, children are left behind at the beginning of their education. They lag in every class year after year because more than 85% of the curriculum is taught by reading. And by the end of 3rd grade, 74% of struggling readers won't ever catch up. In fact, one of the most important predictors of graduating from high school is reading proficiently by the end of 3rd grade. In closing, I highly encourage you to think about future decisions for budgeting to ensure we have the staff in place to support our struggling students. To expect a classroom teacher to provide all 3 tiers of the RTI model is impossible with the amount of limited time and the high numbers of students who require either short or long-term intervention in our elementary schools. You are more than welcome to contact me for the data I have compiled that illustrates how the intervention model is a successful way to accelerate our students' reading proficiency and overall learning as additional support to what students receive in the general classroom. Thank you so much for your time.
Is there anybody else like to speak?
Hi, everyone. I'm Jeff Martin. I'm a special education teacher at Rossi Elementary School. And I'm just speaking today because I'm gravely concerned with the quality of instruction that would be offered next year for elementary school students. They're suggesting or I guess you guys have already approved, an enrollment-driven staffing for next year, which would take staffing based on the amount of students in the classroom are slated to be in the grade level for that year. So a class size currently at Rossi Elementary School might range from 16 to 19, but for next year we're looking at class sizes going to 23 students per classroom, which is legal, yes, but it's not best practice. Best practice tells us that the smaller the class size, the better quality of instruction. So legally, again, it's acceptable, but instructionally there's not really a leg to stand on. Our resources are already being spread thin at the elementary level. Reduction of intervention at our earliest levels will be catastrophic to an already struggling district. We're looking at, again, like Dana was saying, you can look at her data. She's in it every day and she can tell you, one basic skills teacher is just not enough to service the needs of our district or each school level. They say money is tight, but in the past, decisions have always been made to mitigate the effect on the classroom and our most struggling learners. And my concern as a special education teacher is that we're going to keep reducing the ability to remediate our struggling readers, and our already large special education population is just going to grow. I'm already at 16 students, which is the legal limit. And again, legal limit, yes, but instructionally, it's just not best practice. And as for regular ed teachers, like Dana said, I don't think it's feasible for them to be able to remediate struggling learners given not enough resources. I just implore the school district to follow the data. I mean, as teachers, we're using Linkit, we're using a lot of assessments, and I just implore you to do the same thing. Data tells us that small group instruction is the way to go, and I think by using this enrollment-driven staffing, I really feel like we're going to be struggling to do that. We're going from class sizes from 16 to 18 to 23 in some cases, and it's just not feasible. So I just implore the district to do some thinking on how we're going to be servicing our struggling readers or struggling learners and how we can best serve our students. Thank you.
Do we have anyone else that would like to come to the podium? Seeing none. Oh, sorry.
I just wanted to come up for everybody that came today and say thank you for letting us speak and not just listening, but hearing us and what we had to say today.
Old business this evening. Do we have any old business? Seeing none. Do we have any new business this evening?
I just have one question, and Mr. Musterell and I talked about this earlier. I know some people have been asking about petitions for school board, when they can pick them up, and you told me what the deadline is, the end of July. But can they pick them up here? Where can they pick them up, the petitions?
They can pick them up in my office. We'll be posting it on our website in a couple weeks. Yep.
Moving on to board member remarks. We will start with Mr. Rivera.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you to all the individuals that came and spoke. As always, we thank you for your input. We thank you for your suggestions, your comments. They don't fall on deaf ears. Thank you to the individuals from, I believe it was Wallace. They came in, led us in the flag salute. There was a lot of things going on tonight. There was some no votes, some yes votes. But as individuals here, we have to vote on our conscience. We have to vote the way we feel is the best way moving forward. Like Ms. Kadaspati mentioned, is never personal. I, as a taxpayer, as a parent of children in this school district, and as a board member, have a responsibility to each and every one of those groups. And I see that we're asking the public to sacrifice with a tax increase. We're asking our teachers and staff in our schools to sacrifice. And I believe that we all should sacrifice starting from the top. So that's why I voted no on the increases for our administration. I believe that we all need to sacrifice and we all need to have skin in the game. This is the time of year. I congratulate our senior class of 2023 that will be graduating next Thursday. I wish you all the best, all the success in the world come to you. We are proud of you. We are proud of all your achievements and what you're going to achieve. You're going to make Vineland proud in the near future and for years to come. Congratulate all the students in the lower grades that are moving up to the next grade. Congratulations on your achievements. And congratulations to our entire school staff, teachers, custodians, security guards, bus drivers, every person that has a part in our school district. Thank you. Thank you for the hard work that you do, the hard work that you've done throughout this entire school year. We appreciate it. Thank you so much and have a great night. Thank you.
Mr. Sobrana.
Thanks to our flag saluters and sincere gratitude to our security guards from Wallace for their heroism. Thank you for everyone who spoke tonight. Also, congratulations to the 8 retirees with more than 200 years of service. We wish them healthy and fulfilling next chapters in their lives. Of course, this also represents a big loss to the district and a challenge to fill these positions where appropriate with the best possible employees. I'm also looking forward, like my colleagues, to another VHS commencement in a couple of weeks, my 28th. It's always one of the greatest thrills of anyone associated with the district at any level, and we wish our graduates great future success in whatever field of endeavor they may decide to pursue. Thank you.
Mr. Silva.
Yes, I'd like to congratulate, thanks the flag saluters, the security guards from Wallace Middle School for their quick thinking and their reaction time. I'd like to congratulate the Harvard family too on the naming of the gymnasium. It's very well deserved. Also congratulate our soon-to-be graduate next Thursday. I am also looking forward to the graduation, and I wish you guys nothing but the best. Thank you.
Mr. Fiocchi.
No comment at this time.
Mr. Holmes.
Yes, there's a lot of directions I can go in tonight, but I'll be positive. And congratulate Ms. Suzette DeMarchi on your new position as the Executive Director of Curriculum and Instruction. Looking forward to seeing what you do in that role. And I'm looking forward to the end of the year activities being with all of our elementary, middle schools, and of course our high school for their graduation. Have a great night.
Ms. Acosta.
Once again, I'm just going to echo my fellow board members' sentiments. I just want to take an opportunity to thank all of our wonderful teachers and teaching assistants, staff members for a job well done this year. I'd like to congratulate each and every student for persevering this year, and I hope you have a wonderful summer. To our class of 2023, congratulations. I look forward to hearing just nothing but wonderful things about your future, and I truly am very proud of each and every one of your accomplishments, and I'm looking forward to great futures for each and every one of you. With respect to, I know that there was a lot on this agenda. With respect to the instructional coaches, I was very hesitant to vote for this particular position, particularly because I believe that basic skills teachers play a very, very important role in helping those children that are struggling. Basically, we have a year coming up, hopefully, the instructional coaches, which I'm happy to see are coming from our various elementary schools with much experience, will be able to make a positive difference in all the schools. But I certainly would like, as we plan forward for the following year, to look a little closer at the budget. We have to find ways to try to increase the instructional coach, the basic skills teachers in the classroom. I just feel like one basic skills teacher is going to be, it's going to be tough for that one individual to, depending on the size of the school, to be able to address the needs of the students, and that is what concerns me. So I guess by way of maybe new business, I think that it's something that we need to evaluate in the future and really closely pay attention to it to see how the students progress. And hopefully, if there's a need, we've got to figure out a way to bring back more intervention within the elementary schools to make sure that our kids are progressing the way they're supposed to. And finally, I'm also, congratulations to the Harvard family. I'm very glad that we're able to honor Mr. Harvard by naming the Vineland High School Gymnasium after him. So thank you very much, and have a good evening.
Ms. Fabry.
I would like to say that I am honored as well to be part of this process, to be able to name the gymnasium after Mr. Harvard. He was a principal when I was in high school, but I never got called to the principal's office, but I knew him very well, and I appreciate everything that he did, and congratulations to the family. I also want to say congratulations to all of our graduates, and nothing further. Thank you.
Ms. Kataspati.
First, I'd like to congratulate and thank the security guards at Wallace for their heroism, and thank you to the Safety Patrol for coming out and doing the flag salute. We have them every meeting, and it's great to see our students out. Congratulations to the Harvard family, friends, the supporters. I know you have been working very hard. I didn't know Mr. Harvard, but from everything that I've said, this is duly should be happening, so congratulations. To everyone who spoke, thank you. I know sometimes you're leery about coming up and speaking, but I appreciate it because there are times that we don't know things or we need to hear things. It's important that everybody's voice be heard at some point. Of course, it's that time of the year again. Graduation is one of my favorite times, and it's next week. I'd like to thank all the staff for everything that you guys do. I don't think you get enough praise, but we do appreciate you up here, so thank you. To our seniors, congratulations. This is the day that you probably thought would never come. Take what you've learned, embrace it, embark on your future. We as a board, I am so proud of you. We as a board are so proud of you. Mrs. DeMarchi, thank you so much for getting our students ready for graduation, and your staff, and congratulations on your new appointment. And everybody, please have a great summer, safe summer, and God bless you all.
Thank you. Mr. Yano.
Just a few celebrations. I want to say thank you to everyone who made the annual Little Folks Festival on May 5th a huge success. Over 400 attendees enjoyed a wonderful evening. We also had 81 high school students honored with the annual Seal of Biliteracy, another exceptional celebration for our students in bilingualism. Vineland High School's top senior scholars were also officially recognized on May 17th at the Moving Up ceremony. 288 students from the class of 23 were honored for academic excellence. And at the same time, we want to say congratulations to the 12 Vineland Public School elementary and middle school students who were honored on May 17th as Giraffe Heroes for having big hearts, sticking their necks out to help others, and for being persistent in pursuing their goals. You are an inspiration to all of us and to your classmates. Also want to say thank you to the Safety Patrol members who were honored last night here at Landis, elementary and middle school students. Thank you for your another great year of service. We have the Merit Assembly tomorrow evening. Our 8th graders will be celebrating their annual Moving Up ceremony soon. Can't wait to see them at VHS next year. And last but not least, the class of 2023 graduates next Thursday. We are proud of you. We hope your future is filled with success, happiness, and endless opportunities to chase your dreams. Looking forward to seeing all of our graduates at Gatone on the 15th.
Thank you, Mr. Yano. Firstly, I would like to thank the Historical Society for all the beautiful displays that are outside of our building in our lobby. I was here the other day, and a group of students that are part of the Historical Society were out there with a bunch of archives, so if you can, check it out. A lot of great history from Vineland. We have a lot of great young men sitting in front of us, and I'm super proud of you guys for coming up to the podium. It's not easy. You've gained all my respect. I look forward to seeing that energy this season out on the football field, so go Vineland. Congrats to the class of 2023. Congrats to the Harvard family and for Mr. Wilson for heading up that committee and getting this job done for our gymnasium. And I would also like to give Ms. DeMarchi an opportunity to come to the podium as she is our new Executive Director of Curriculum and Instruction.
Good evening, everyone. First, Mr. Yano, thank you. Central Administration members, thank you. Ms. Codispati, Ms. Spinelli, board members, thank you. To my family, thank you for their continued support. I am truly honored, humbled. I'm super excited. I think I've said that multiple times. I'm ready to get started and work collaboratively with all to ensure that our students in Vineland Public Schools truly do receive the very, very best educational opportunities each and every day. There are so many amazing things happening right here in Vineland Public Schools, and I am so honored to be part of all of them. So thank you, and I look forward to working with everyone very soon.
Thank you, Ms. DeMarchi. So with that, that means that the search for a new principal at Vineland High School will, I think, be posted tomorrow. So we have lots of work to do there. So wish us luck, but I'm confident that we will find another successful candidate. So thank you again for coming out. We have a lot of great things happening for the end of the year, and we will be seeing you all at graduation and the end of the year celebration. So have a good night, and we are going to head into our last executive session for this evening.
So moved.
Motion?
So moved.
Adjourned.